Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Michael Bursch. I'm going to provide a brief presentation on the American Airlines Flight 14. The agenda for today, we're going to discuss the details of the accident, including the decisions and events that led up to the accident, the decisions and the activities that contributed to the accident, National Transportation Safety Board's response, and the resultant safety recommendations to help prevent this from occurring again in the future. This case study describes the accident involving American Airlines 1420, the McDonnell Douglas MD-82, which crashed after it overran the end of runway 4 right during a landing at Little Rock National Airport. Safety issues identified in the aircraft accident report focus on flight crew performance, flight crew decision-making regarding operations in adverse weather, pilot fatigue, weather information dissemination, emergency response, frangibility of the airport structures, and Federal Aviation Administration oversight. Safety recommendations concerning these issues were addressed to the FAA and the national leaderships. Mishap occurred on June 1st, 1999. After a brief weather delay, Flight 1420 departed Dallas Fort Worth to Little Rock, Arkansas. There were 145 people on board, including 139 passengers and 6 crew. Now we'll discuss the summary events that occurred. The flight's 2240 departure time was 2 hours and 12 minutes later than the scheduled departure time. The captain was the flying pilot. The first officer was the non-flying pilot. The dispatcher suggested that the flight crew expedite the arrival to beat the finish line if possible, and the flight crew acknowledged this message. First officer indicated in the post-accident interview that there was no discussion of delaying or diverting the landing because of the weather. The cockpit voice recorder indicated that the flight crew had discussed the weather and the need to expedite the approach. Throughout the flight, there was a discussion about wind shear, crosswind, landing limitations, proximity of a thunderstorm, the crew's inability to return to the runway due to visibility and heavy rain. The crew touched down at 2350, began the hydroplane, deployed the reverse thrust, applied the brakes to the full travel position, and the aircraft ended up hitting the localizer array, approach lighting system, support structure, and the airplane. 11 passengers and the captain perished as a result of the accident, while the remainder of the crew and 105 passengers received varying degrees of injury, ranging from serious to minor issues. The aircraft was destroyed. Causes of the accident. Several issues led to American Airlines Flight 1420 accident. Some of these issues include rapidly deteriorating weather conditions, wind shear alerts were ignored. The crew continued with an unstable approach. The flight crew's degraded performance was consistent with known effects of fatigue. Some system failures that contributed to the accident were the fact the spoilers did not automatically deploy, which led directly to the flight crew's problems in stopping the airplane within the remaining available runway length and maintaining directional control of the airplane on the runway. Also, the use of reverse thrust at levels greater than 1.3 engine pressure ratio significantly reduced the effectiveness of the airplane's rudder and vertical stabilizer, and resulted in further directional control problems on the runway. The NTSB emergency response to this accident is structured around a typical NTSB response to any aviation accident. The GO team is on call 24/7 and is immediately deployed after notification. The typical GO team is comprised of subject matter experts that represent operations, human performance, weather, aircraft structures, power plant systems, survival factors, ATC, and the CVRF. The NTSB conducts on-site investigation, which includes several key tests. They are responsible for scene management in conjunction with local authorities and FAA to make sure that the scene is cordoned off and documented. Investigators conduct wreckage investigation and debris mapping of the wreckage, examine runway markings, and document aircraft damage and control settings. NTSB also conducts witness interviews, including with survivors, crew, and airport airline staff. The detailed weather analysis is also performed to identify the exact conditions present at the time of the accident and collect supporting data and documentation. Flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder were sent to the lab to extract the data to determine the communication of the crew and aircraft performance. Components were tested, and the simulation and modeling was developed to recreate the approach and landing. Human factors evaluation was conducted to determine the crew endurance. They also review training records, analyze crew resource management and procedures, and determine if psychological factors contributed to the accident. After gathering and analyzing all the data, the NTSB publishes a very detailed report to determine probable cause, promote safety improvements, provide a factual account of the accident, inform the public and the history of the accident. In the event of the American Airlines Flight 1420, the report indicated that the probable cause was the crew's failure to abort the approach when an unstabilized condition was present. Failure to confirm spoilers were deployed and the crew fatigued. Other contributing factors are listed below. Based on the findings, the NTSB issued several recommendations to improve safety. Those recommendations include adjusting crew duty hours to address fatigue, mandating enhanced crew resource management testing, improve airport infrastructure to include the overrun safety areas and weather monitoring systems, improving the go-around culture and its policies, making it acceptable for pilots to abort the approach and adjust the criteria. As it relates to the aircraft systems, mandate automatic spoiler deployment and reliable crew alert function to remind the crew to deploy. And finally, incorporate all air traffic control facilities in near real-time color weather radar display and show detailed precipitation anticipates. In conclusion, this event changed the lives of many and impacted the industry in several areas. The safety recommendations that were presented generally assisted in identifying some control measures to address risk and make the industry safe. Human error will continue to be present and contributing issue. Therefore, it is imperative that we continue to provide our crews with the most relevant and realistic training possible. This slide, you can see the references that were utilized for this brief. At this time, I'll take any questions. Thank you.